Hello, welcome to today's episode of the Food and Travel Podcast by State Street Spices. I'm your host, Andrew Rubin. Today we have a very interesting episode. I will be ranking my best restaurants I've ever been to, as well as talking about our Kansas City spice blend from State Street Spices. So without further ado, let's get started. To rank today's episode, I'm using mostly just the taste of the food. However, I will also factor in service, environment, and other factors into each restaurant's ranking and score. Furthermore, each score is out of 10 stars. We start this list off on La Hill in St. Louis, Missouri with Ragazzi's. Ragazzi's is a famous Italian restaurant on La Hill in St. Louis, and they have a lot of amazing things to offer. I personally think they do the best toasted ravioli in all of St. Louis, and they have amazing lasagna and desserts. My favorite thing to get at Ragazzi's is for dessert la tiramisu, which is the best tiramisu I've had, and it is really just a great restaurant and also a great environment on La Hill. It gets the number 10 spot with 8.8 stars. The next restaurant comes in at number 9, Joe's Barbecue in Kansas City, Missouri. Joe's Barbecue has multiple locations throughout the Kansas City metro area, and I personally think they have the best barbecue in the entire country. Joe's Barbecue does such a great job, whether you want burnt ends or brisket. There's really a lot of amazing options for barbecue at Joe's, and it's my personal favorite barbecue restaurant I've been to. With 8.8 stars, it just edges out Ragazzi for the number 9 spot. Next, at number 8, we have Lupo Marino in Washington, D.C. Lupo Marino is another Italian restaurant that I went to for the first time on my second D.C. trip. There I got her lasagna, which I thought was amazing. So when I went back to the same area in D.C., which is the Wharf, the next time I went to the same restaurant, and I tried one of the pizza options, which was fantastic. It is one of the best pizzas I've ever had, and one of the best foods in general I've ever had. So I'd highly recommend Lupo Marino. When I'm out of town, I rarely go to the same restaurant again, because I like trying new things. But I knew when I was at the Wharf in DC, I had to have Lupo Marino's again, because how great of foods they have. It gets a number 8.9 stars in the number 8 spot. Next, we go back to St. Louis, Missouri for Yan Cheng. Yan Cheng is an amazing Chinese restaurant in St. Louis, and they have a lot of great options. My personal favorites are the sweet and sour chicken and the Yan Cheng beef. I think the Yan Cheng beef is the best Chinese food I've had from any restaurant, and they also have a lot of great appetizers. Whatever you get at this restaurant, there's really something for everyone when it comes to Chinese food, and they really just do all the food so well that it's one of the best Chinese restaurants that I've ever had. With 8.9 stars, gets the number 7 spot. However, there is another St. Louis Chinese restaurant that I think is even better. Coming in at the number 6 spot, we have Corner 17 in St. Louis, Missouri. Corner 17 is located in the Del Mar Loop, and they have so many great food options. The first time I went to this restaurant was just a month or two ago, and I had their sesame chicken, which was extremely well done. You could tell they put a lot of work into each of their foods. When you go there, you can see them make the homemade pasta that they use for their stir fries, and there's so much to offer here. This restaurant had one of the biggest menus I've ever seen, and while usually that's a bad thing, they just do each food so well. If you're going to get stir fry, or you're going to get sesame chicken, or you're going to get one of their juices and boba teas, they really just do every single thing really well, and it is a great environment being in the Del Mar Loop in St. Louis, which is why it gets 9 stars in the number 6 spot. The next restaurant is the only one on this list located out of the United States, and is also the only breakfast restaurant on this list. In the number 5 spot, we have OEB Breakfast Co., located in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. OEB has such amazing foods. I went there with my sister and her family last March, and we had a great time. Firstly, the environment in the Calgary area where this was located in is amazing. It's a great walkable area to be in, and even though we had to wait a while for a table, being in this nice area with this nice environment was really great. And when we did get our table, I ordered a breakfast poutine with some of our famous sausage, and it was really amazing. Each component of the poutine they did really well, and I tried quite a few poutines when I was in Canada, and they just knocked it out of the park compared to the other ones. I would highly recommend OEB breakfast if you're ever in the Calgary area. And while I usually don't like breakfast restaurants much, OEB has to get the number 5 spot on this list with a 9.2 star rating. Next, for number 4, we go to New York City, New York for Little Italy Pizza. When I went to New York for the first time last November, I was so excited to try a New York slice of pizza. While I'm not a huge pizza fan, really good pizza is amazing and arguably some of the best food. So, with New York being so well known for pizza, I was really excited to go there and try a famous New York slice. We went to Little Italy Pizza, and I got a cheese slice and a sausage slice, and it tasted so amazing. Little Italy Pizza really does a great job, and honestly, I really think New York pizza is completely different from the rest of the United States, and is completely better than the rest of the United States. Little Italy Pizza, they have their own oven in the restaurant. That's a very unique type of oven that they can have slices come out fast, which means there's not really a wait for pizza slices. And with a lot of the restaurants being in the heart of New York City, this is a great option if you're ever in New York, and I would highly recommend getting a slice from Little Italy Pizza. It gets a 9.3 star rating in the number 4 spot. Next, we go across the United States to LA, California for Ahi Sushi. This sushi restaurant is unlike any other sushi restaurant I've ever been to. They have a lot of unique options, including octopus and eel. Some of my favorite foods I've ever had was because I tried them at this sushi restaurant, and they really have so many different offerings, whether you're looking for sushi, just some teriyaki chicken and rice, or if you're looking for something more unique like eel or octopus. Eel is one of my favorite foods, and it's only because I tried it for the first time at this amazing restaurant. So I would highly recommend if you're in LA and you want some good sushi or some unique food items, going to this amazing sushi restaurant, which is why it gets a number 9.4 stars out of 10 in the number 3 spot. Now, just missing out on the number 1 spot, we go back to the Midwest in Madison, Wisconsin for Deluxe. Deluxe I've already talked about in this podcast in a previous episode because they have so many amazing food options. When I went to Madison, I was really looking forward to trying cheese curds because that's my favorite food. And we went to Deluxe, which was right next to the Wisconsin State Capitol, and their cheese curds were amazing, unlike anything I've ever tried before. It is my favorite food from any restaurant. And they also really had amazing burgers and french fries. And just so many different of the food options sounded so amazing. And my dad, who also went with me, also really enjoyed this restaurant. Plus, with it being the same block that the state capitol is, it's a really great environment in downtown Madison. And I'd highly recommend going there if you're in Wisconsin, especially if you're in the mood for great cheese curds, which is why it gets in the number 2 spot with a star rating of 9.6 out of 10. Before reviewing number 1, I would love to go over some honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is Shiloh Bar and Grill in Columbia, Missouri with 8.2 stars. They have really great, amazing food, especially for a more casual type of grill and bar. They have the tater tots that are made from sweet potatoes, and they add some cinnamon flavor that makes them really good. It's my favorite type of sweet potato of anything I've had. And they really have a lot of great options if you're in the Columbia, Missouri area. The next honorable mention, also with an 8.2 star rating, we have Tonic in Washington, D.C. Tonic is near the GW campus that I visited on a tour, and we went here afterwards, and I was very impressed. I got a loaded tater tots, and it's really an amazing option. They have so many different types of food on the loaded tater tots, and they do each option really well. It's my favorite tater tots I've had, but also all the things on top of them, they just do so well, which is why it is an honorable mention for today's list. The next honorable mention is Huhat Mongolian Grill. Huhat has a lot of locations. I've only been to the one in Creve Coeur, Missouri, but Huhat does an amazing job. It is buffet style where you pick out different foods. However, it is uncooked foods that you get to watch them cook. And it's a stir-fry type place where they have different pastas, some rice, some different meats and vegetables. And they do a great job at having all these options and cooking it right in front of you that I really love every time I go to Huhat. I've been to Huhat more than any other restaurant on this list, and they really just do a great job, which is why it gets 8.3 stars and an honorable mention on today's list. The next honorable mention is for the Tipsy Cow in Madison, Wisconsin. This is another restaurant that I really enjoyed their cheese curds. However, they have a lot of other amazing foods. The alligator bites is another amazing appetizer that I tried. And it also had a mac and cheese, which was also really good. I mean, you really can't go wrong when it comes to cheese in Madison, Wisconsin. But Tipsy Cow really just does a great job. However, I think each item I tried there was not as good as the deluxe in Madison, Wisconsin, which is why it is not on the top 10 list, but deserves an honorable mention with an 8.5 star rating. The last honorable mention is in Kansas City, Missouri, Jack Stack's Barbecue. Jack Stack's has a lot of amazing barbecue items and is one of my favorite barbecue restaurants I've ever been to. Kansas City just does such a great job at barbecue, and Jack Stack's Barbecue is no exception. They have amazing burnt ends, and I really also enjoyed the sides they had, which is why it gets the 8.5 star rating and just misses out on the top 10 list. Before announcing number 1, there's a reason why there was 2 Kansas City barbecue restaurants on this list. Kansas City does such a great job at barbecue, which is why our Kansas City Barbecue Blends is one of the 8 blends offered at State Street Spices. Enjoy the bold flavors of Kansas City barbecue with our distinctive spice mix. Inspired by Kansas City's barbecue scene, our blend combines mild spices into a delicious mix. Whether you're making brisket or making delicious mac and cheese, our Kansas City barbecue spice mix is your ticket to flavor. It's now time to reveal number 1. We have Coast on Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. Coast has so many amazing options. I went there with my mom on a trip to South Carolina, and it is by far the best restaurant I've ever been to. I had the appetizer of the tuna tartare, which was so good. I've had a few of those at different places, and I think Coast does a really great job at bringing out all those flavors. And then for entree, I had the lobster mac and cheese, which was also spectacular. The cheese blend really is amazing and really brings out the flavor of the pasta, as well as having that amazing fresh lobster on top was really just an amazing experience. And for dessert, I had the coconut cake, which was amazing, one of the best desserts I've ever had. The coconut cake really tasted like the fresh coconut, and they really just did a great job. And the reason why the number 1 is because it nails all the different factors I look for. For environment, it is right on the beach. You can walk out to the restaurant and be on the beach. Like, it's just a great environment. And they also have very kind and friendly staff. and then they have amazing food for all different courses, which is why Coast has to be my number one pick for today's list of my favorite restaurants. What restaurant should I try next? Let us know, and thank you so much for listening to today's podcast episode. Next episode, we will be reviewing the top 10 food cities across the United States, combining many different episodes of the series we've been doing for a great, amazing finale. So stay tuned for that episode. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.